I'm going to give it a second, wait, make sure that everything is working properly. I think we're doing all right. I swear, every time I open up all these windows, something's different. All right, welcome to another episode of Together We Write. My name is Chris Brzezicki. I am an assistant professor of applied writing and English here at the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Each week, hopefully, if all things go well, I do a little streaming and demonstrate some sort of common practice associated with writing, whether it be, like today we're talking about looking at digital writing specifically, cover a variety of topics that usually things that are taught in my classes, which is a pretty good array from business writing to what we're looking at today is a little HTML, throwing in some GitHub in there. It's actually currently already planning for the fall semester, and I'm looking at another new class for the fall called Interfaces. We're going to be doing a little bit of writing for user-centered design, which should be pretty cool. Like, one of the big challenges, though, is how to do this online. Ideally, when we're doing any sort of user experience, when we're engaged in the user experience process, it's helpful to have everyone in a space kind of workshopping and making cool things, but it's an online class, so it'll be a little bit different. Anyway, so today we're talking about not user interfaces. You can tell I've been thinking about interface design for a few days now. We are focused today on creating a web page from scratch using nothing but HTML and uploading it to a platform called GitHub to publish that site. Now, and if you're in the digital platforms class where participants are doing this very same thing, the question may come up, and it's a very fair question to ask. Why do I need to learn HTML? All right. Well, the reasons are plenty. If you can easily go your entire life without knowing HTML, to be fair, you can be a web designer, a fantastic web designer, without knowing HTML, maybe. But when it comes down to it, any sort of web authoring, online authoring that you do, knowing HTML means that you're not limited by the tools that you use necessarily. So, for example, let me pull up one window here. I've got Medium, which is one platform for writing, publishing, and it's actually I don't mind it too much. I enjoy the stories that I get from there, and it's pretty solid. But when I'm looking at this, I can tell right away that there's a lot going on here. Okay. And this is relatively simple and minimalistic, which is a nice design quality. Select text to change formatting, add headers, or create links. It's giving me little helpful guidance in case I forget how to do this. Add images, include content from Medium or other sites by pasting a link and pressing enter. You can mention anyone in your story by typing an ampersand. Is that an ampersand or an at symbol? And then their name. They will get a notification after you publish. Click share for a link you could send to friends or editors. Customize your story. So there's a lot going on here. It's like I have written this before, but all right. So this, again, remarkably simplistic. But I've got this menu here. I can just go ahead and start writing. Images. Add an image from Unsplash. Okay. Add a video, probably from YouTube. add an embed, so I can embed some code in there. I can add a new code block, so if I want to actually write some code, or add a new part, okay, whatever that means, another section maybe. All right, so all of this can be done with HTML. I don't need any of this, the interface. I don't need the service to do this. What it's doing is essentially making it easier to conduct the basically what HTML has been doing since day one, right? Adding images, adding an image from Unsplash, which probably means, let's see what it pulls up. So I get the little boxes here, and it'll add some stock photography, whatever. Okay, so otherwise I got, again, these are all treatments that I could do with HTML. Now, it's still, you might be saying, okay, that's all well and good, Chris. You clearly have a thing for HTML and believe it's a worthwhile language. Some of the other reasons, though, before I move on, one of the biggest reasons to be thinking of HTML, as a viable skill. It's one of the top coding languages to know. So it's still very popular, still widely used. If you are in the technical or professional, anything that involves technical or professional writing, HTML is incredibly valuable because you can edit, create pages on the fly without having to worry about, consulting with someone else. You're able to, assuming that your primary platform for writing is the interwebs, you are going to need HTML to do those edits. The other nice thing, what we're looking at today, you might say, well, why do we need to learn how to, go through all of this to upload it to, say, GitHub? I think ultimately all of this is about control, right? It's about controlling your work. And I'm thinking of a student assignment, a submission for something different, but I'm going to mess this up. I should have written this down beforehand. But you don't really own your work unless you're controlling your work. Again, that's not exactly what the person said, but with each of these platforms, they can be taken down. They can fall apart. Something can happen. Now, certainly, it can happen to GitHub as well. Don't get me wrong. In fact, GitHub was probably still experiencing a pretty significant issue with its platform. But Medium, Substack, WordPress, they're all good. They all provide good alternative. They're fantastic for what they do. But speaking of which, let's go open up where's my here's my WordPress site. Same sort of thing. You get this. It's much easier. That's for sure. Look at all these options. All of this can probably be done with HTML. All right, so this is good. I mean, I like WordPress. Don't get me wrong. It's got all the bells and whistles, but we don't need it. All right. And so all that aside, you may still be saying, okay, well, what do I still, not seeing myself ever using anything beyond, I'm always going to have WordPress. I'm always going to have Medium. Here's when I said control, you have control over your work for sure. You have complete control over how it looks, over how it's styled. You can get into cascading style sheets and really make the work your own and style it. But it's also good to know, and I think this is more conceptual and theoretical, but it's also what knowing HTML is to know essentially how the internet works. What the affordances of the internet are, right? Linking, multimedia, styles using, Markdown, the flavor of Markdown, right? And so when you start to get down to those brass tacks, those nuts and bolts of the internet, you really are left with a very simple, elegant, yet sophisticated system that is accessible by everyone. Okay. One of the great, okay, here's an old man wailing at the wind moment, right? One of the great things, one of the unfortunate things we lost over the last, say, 20, 30 years as HTML's been available for everyone. But I think with the advent of the smartphone and the preference by most to, prefer the phone, mobile device, whatever, over the personal computer, left us without an ability to really own our parcel, our plot of the frontier that was the World Wide Web circa, 1990, 2000. So we really have lost a lot of control over the web. Okay, we have profiles, we may have a WordPress site, but none of this we own. We don't have any of this. We don't have the ability to say what we can do with the information that's on there. We can't say, I can't publish my Facebook profile, which had a weird technical issue this morning. I can't own it. It's owned by Facebook. All the data that I use in that I contribute to that Facebook profile is therefore taken up by Facebook, and it is owned by them. What they do with it, prime example, AI. This is where we get the content for this, right? And so a little bit of this, to be perfectly honest, is just feeling ownership of some part of the internet, which is what at one point was going to be a much more open, accessible, and welcoming landscape than it is right now, right? Um, let's see. I think there was another point, but I think I think my soapbox is starting to buckle under the weight of my obnoxious words. All right, let's move on. All right, so I've got my notepad here. I'm going to create what I'm going to do is go through the process of creating a web page, creating a second web page, and uploading this to GitHub and essentially publishing a website that is publicly accessible. Okay. Again, this is digital publishing at its rawest. There are ways of doing it outside of GitHub, which would be ideal, but a little bit more difficult to do on a college campus. Anyway, let's go ahead and start. First thing is our doc type declaration. Oops. Where I say, hey, this is going to be an HTML document. Fairly straightforward. Now we've been working with HTML now for a couple weeks. And I have worked through this same exercise several times to see what where the pain points are. And I think we should be okay here. It's actually pretty nice to be able to do this again. I'm going to add a title. Add a head. Okay, so my title is going to be all right, I'm going to need some help with that one because I am not a poet by any stretch of the word definition. Um, all right, so we've got our page so far. So far, so good. I think that's it. Heading, body, need that. Okay, not doing too bad. Right. I think we're doing pretty good. I'm just kind of looking at the YouTube, the channel here, and there we go. It's kind of scared me because it was like 10 minutes back. All right, so here we have a simple web haiku. We've got, let's do a paragraph here. All right, I think I want to add a little bit more. I'm going to keep it simple, and I'll wait and make sure that this works again before I jump into it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and scoot over to this other screen here and see if I can't get my GitHub account opened so I can make sure that's on the ready. Lots of stuff here. Again, I can't remember how we used to do this back in the 90s. I want to say we had a computer. There was a way that if we had our internet account, I can't remember how we hosted. It was probably from like Google sites or something weird. I don't know. I don't even think Google was around at the time, or it wasn't as big. I can't remember how we posted sites to the web. Anyway, let's start. We got our body here. What's haiku? 575. This is a haiku. About the internet. About making a website. Not all that. Not good by any. I am not a poet. There you go. Okay. And so I'm going to go ahead and save this. Oops. Save as haiku HTML. Let's see. Excuse me. Okay. There we go. All right, so it does it nice and formatted like. So let's say I want to I'm going to add a, let's see, I want to add a little space in here. Let's see if I can do this. Maybe not. Okay, where's my, check it out. No, okay, I don't know what I'm doing here. Just trying to add a little space. But then I'll save that for maybe later if there's time. I'll go through it. All right, so I've got this. I'm not a poet. I'm going to add a break in here. I want to see about something. Open up my page. Where'd my page go? There we are. Oh, so it didn't. All right. Can always, I should say always, if I am oh shoot, I can't remember what I did something wrong there. And now it's going to copy over everything. All right, let's do a break here. And I'm going to make that into a, see, now it's going to, I hit delete. I can't remember. That's, no. Dang it. True haiku.html, which I have not made yet. I think we're good there. I think that's how the formatting should be. All right. Okay, so that'll be going to a new, we've got our, another link to a new page. We've got, let's say, I'm going to do an image here as well. Equals, I've been using this Trillium image quite a bit. Alt equals Trillium. Width equals 500. And I think that should do it. Okay. If I have my Trillium image, let's see, save, probably won't have the image. Oh, I guess I do have an image. For real haiku, check out this page, and the image is kind of floating around there. It's because I don't have. It's important to check frequently before you get too far. Otherwise, you may forget. Especially if you got a longer page. This is nothing. But let's see, save. F5 to repeat, and there we go. For real haiku, check out this page, and it will not turn out anything. Okay, so we're good. So now I'm going to do, let's say, a new one. I'm going to do the same thing again. Doc type, HTML. HTML. Head. Body. Okay. So here I'm going to add a title, true haiku title in here. I'm going to try something a little bit different here. Add some styles by hand because I want to beef this up a little bit. So every time I want to add a style, and I think I'm going to have to look at this up because I can't remember. There's curly brackets and semicolons, and I want to make sure I get this right. And that's okay. I'm one of the reasons I'm doing this is to show exactly how this works and how we, um, we have to look things up every once in a while. HTML style tag. Yeah, I was close. Okay, so I want to present this haiku in a slightly different fashion. I want to give it a little bit of a different type, and so it might be helpful to know which fonts are permitted in the in basic, HTML5. So I have to look that up too. So let's go ahead. I'm going to give this a heading, heading 1. I'm not going to worry about color, but I want to, let's see. Let me see if I can find it. Da-da. Let's see. Now I'm going to try to change the font a little bit. Font family, that's what it is. Font family. See, this is where it gets kind of obnoxious. So so what I'm looking at here is W3 schools. I'm just trying to figure out what families are workable. So Verdana and Courier New, but it's weird that the treatment is slightly different. Okay, so I'm going to do font family. Font family is Courier New. And I'm going to, let's see, I can do that. And strong. Let's see if I can do that. Try it over here. Nope. Paragraph. Keep the same one. Again, this isn't required if you're in the class. This is not required. I'm just kind of doing a little bit extra here just to try some things out. But I want font size, piece style. Oh, okay. So, and again, this is HTML5. So one of the problems I tend to run into is because I initially learned HTML several years ago, many years ago. Some of these new tags, they're wild. They're strange to me. Okay, let's see. Piece style. So I wonder. how color red. I'm not sure why. Sorry, I'm just still looking this up to try to figure out how you can add maybe you can't. Let's see, font. So you gotta do semicolons inside. Okay. Text align center. And so I might have to, let's see. See if that works. Courier new. So what I'm trying to do here is just, this is, what I'm trying to do here is, again, just sort of style this in a way. And it looks like it's pretty good. We'll see in a moment. Okay, so it helps to actually write some content in there so you can... yeah. All right. Did I at least get the title in there? Yeah. So that's good. Let's see. I need a haiku. So I'm going to look one up. Searching Old Silent Pond. Probably the most anthologized haiku in English translation. Most popular haiku ever written is likely Matsuo Basho's An Old Silent Pond. So I will... Thank you. Copy this. Splash once again. All right, let's give it a... There. All right. So, but it didn't give me what I wanted. Okay. So I'm going to have to do another one. Let's see. H1. H1. Thank you. Oops. Thank you. Da-da. The old pond. Mm-hmm. 1686. All right. good here. Font family. Let's start with this. Let's see see if I can figure this out before I move on. So I just don't. Let's see. Let's see how it goes. Ah, bingo. So just a little bit of tweaking here. Now I still would like to add another line here, but this is good. Do want to do this. There we go. Give it a little italicization. All right, link's working. Okay, now I'm going to go back, see where we at here. No, too many tabs open. Let's do another break here. I'm going to do ahref equals index.html because that's what I need it to be. Go back. All right, so that's that. Let's do a see color purple. See if that works. Yeah. Oh, because this is not okay. All right, so I've got my two files, and now's the easy part. I'm going to rename this index. Okay, so I got that. Now, where is my GitHub? Where's my GitHub account? Where are you? There we go. There's this. You know, if I had a little bit more time and I wasn't on camera here, I would do this. I would look up some of these other things to do a little razzle dazzle on those pages, but I'm just going to keep it the way it is. All right, so I've done this now a couple times. I'm going to do it once more. All right, so I've got my GitHub account under my profile. I'm going to go to my repositories, and I'm going to click new. Okay, and this is going to be a repository name, so I'm going to call it simply haiku, and it's available. Sweet. All right, so I'm going to make it public. I'm going to add a README file because README files are just fun. Nothing like documentation, right? All right, so I'm going to create repository. Here we go. And again, everything can be left alone. Okay, so our haiku. This is a simple site created to demonstrate how the process of creating a simple site and uploading it to GitHub. Okay. Let's see. Author. Give it a little bit of razzle dazzle here. This was created by for digital platforms for publishing University of Wisconsin, Green Bay, spring 2024. Now it's legit. Now I'm going to commit those changes. And so I've got my documentation down there. We're good. I don't have to worry about the README file anymore. Oh, interestingly, it did not add. I must have missed the. Let's see if I can figure that out. I didn't add the license. That's okay though. I'm not really worried about that. Okay. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and upload my. I'm going to go ahead and upload my files. So let's see, where are those? And you got the this. Add that up there. Here's my Trillium up here. So I got all my files here. They're all good. And then uploaded. So again, this is just documenting the changes. Now, a lot of what we are doing here is it's like a fraction of what actually goes into creating a website, of course. And think of all that has, a little. I think what I was trying to get at the beginning of this stream is really thinking about the creation of something out of nothing. Okay. I think one of the, and it's minor, and if I can go back to the, let's see if I can still have it. If I go back to the Medium page and the WordPress page, there's still stuff on there, right? Now, what's interesting is that stuff that's been on that screen has dwindled away. So there really is almost nothing. And there's a reason for that. I would argue that one of the reasons that a lot of our platforms are reaching towards simplicity and keeping things minimalistic on the screen is because we do want less distraction. We do want to feel as though we own our content, right? That's really been a major theme of this course. When you think about it, we started off with copyright. We talked about Creative Commons. When it comes to digital platforms, and if you're in the class, when we come back from spring break, we're going to start using other people's platforms, starting off with Canvas. And we're going to see exactly why this is not as ideal, right? There are issues, there are trade-offs, right? When we use sort of platforms that other people have made and use their tools, we're giving something up, all right? And we'll talk more about that after spring break. Now that I'm saying that, maybe we should have put the second half of the class at the beginning, but it's a little late for that. Anyway, so we've got our site, got our index page, we've got the image, we've got the second page, and let's see how we're looking here. I've got my README file, settings, and I'm going to go under pages, and we've got some options here. Deploy from a branch, and there's a little bit going on here, not too much. Deploy, we don't need to worry about that. And we're going to do main, save. Okay. And I'm going to go back to the repository, and I should see a little brown dot. That means it's pending. This is the moment where you just sort of have to be patient and wait for it to finish. It does take a little bit of time. And if this is the most, as I said, there are trade-offs. If this is the only trade-off that you have to work with, contend with, that's not too bad. It does take us, you would think that it would take a little less time. The files are very simple, but still going. Yeah, GitHub is a pretty cool resource. There's a lot going on here. I'm not going to get into it too much. I don't know a lot about it, to be honest, but I know it's a platform that allows you to do what we're doing. All right, so I got the green check mark means we're good to go. And if I go over to settings again, pages, I should have, there's our web link. I'm going to visit the site. So far, so good. This is a haiku about making a website. I am not a poet. For real haiku, check out this page. And here we go. We've got the purple color. Everything's in Courier, italicized. Go back, and we're good to go. All right. So now if you're in the digital platforms class, all you have to do is copy this. You could copy this URL, paste it into your the Canvas Dropbox, and you're good to go. And with that, you can have a great spring break. All right. So let's see what else we can do. We've got a little bit of time, so I'm going to I'm going to try to take a crack at some of these styles again. I want to try some things here. So I'm going to go back to my repository. Go back to index. Okay, we should be pretty good here. I didn't mind this too much. I do want to go over, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. All right, just so I can actually read it. See, it helps to click the little edit pencil. And I want to add some metadata to this first one because that's for professional purposes, adding metadata into your web page is always a good idea. It helps with web searches and whatnot. Let's see. I don't believe it's very tricky, but I do know it's like going in the head here. Do meta. I'm gonna do name equals. So what I'm doing is creating a data set that will be used for analytics if this were actually a thing, right? Okay, meta keywords equals HTML UWGB. So we should be good there. Okay. So I think we are. Grammarly, get out of here. Excuse me. All right, so that's okay. I want to get this style nailed down before I move on because I've done it. As I've said before, I have forgotten more HTML than I remember, so it's good to be reminded of this a little bit. Let's do P. I don't need that. Style. And we're going to do P font family color. Oops. Let's see. Okay. Which font families HTML5? Okay. So you can look at this too. So here are some font families. Let's see if we can find a good one. Here we go. Arial, Verdana, Tahoma, Trebuchet, Times New Roman, Georgia, Claremont. Yeah. Brush script. Ooh. Yeah, that'll be annoying. Brush. Brush script MT. I think let's give that a try because I don't want to. These changes may not pan out. So we go back to Haiku. It's going to upload it and still doing it. So that's the thing. I've often forgotten that it takes time to settle up here. So does take some. So the ideal situation would be to create your web pages ahead of time and then upload them once they're done and ready to go. So all you have to do is test to make sure everything works and the links work and all that. Let's see. Are we ready yet? Nope. Da, da, da. Oh, it does work. Okay. All right. Let's try it on the other screen here. A little F5. We're good to go. Let's see how it works. Yep. Do a little brush script here to make it really annoying. I don't like that. It's a little small though. A little small. So I'm gonna do. See. Font size percent. Font size. Let's do 500%. It doesn't like that though. See, again, this is why you do this in another service. You wouldn't want to do this. This is taking forever, so I wouldn't. Probably good for small edits, but not ideal for our purposes here. Takes a little bit of time. Come on. There we go. All right. So that made it really, really big. And we are good to go. All right. That's it. Okay. Not bad. An hour's worth of work. Web page that is, let's see. I'm going to see if it works in incognito window just to try something out. All right. Yeah. So it's all online, all done with nothing more than Notepad, Had to reference some things a couple times, but we're good to go. All right. So that's it in a nutshell. Creating a brand spanking new website with little more than a simple notepad uh, tool, some typing, an image, and GitHub. Uh, Again, why do we do this? I mean, I just created something out of nothing, and it's worth taking a step back and with all of the content that we generate online, thinking about what goes into it, right? And what makes our web pages run is a little more than language. And so when you start to get in there and work with that language yourself, I hope you get a little bit of a better, maybe I wouldn't say appreciation, but an understanding of what's going on under the hood, right? And just as if you've never worked with HTML before, um, that's okay. Like I feel the same way whenever I look under the hood of a car. I'm completely lost, right? And so just like when anything goes wrong with the car, I have to take it into someone. They charge me outrageous prices for something that I'm paying for their expertise. And so again, if nothing else, the best reason for learning some of these skills, HTML especially, is you don't have to go elsewhere for consultation, and you would get charged a lot of money for something that's very simple. Ideally, what I want everyone to take away from this work is at least looking at the um, looking. Sorry, I got distracted by the YouTube window again. It was all over the place. You have ownership, you have control. Ultimately, if anything else, what I want from this class is for everyone to come away with a new understanding of what it is to own your work. All right. And because a lot of what we do, unfortunately, as a lot of us are coming to reckon with, we don't actually own a lot of the work that we do online. Whenever we're writing, we're publishing to um, these platforms, they have ownership of certain pieces, if not the entirety of that work. So what we're getting at here is when it comes to digital publishing, we're leaning in the to those processes that maintain your ownership of your work as best as possible. When we return after spring break, we will be jumping into kind of like I said before, maybe this would have been a better first half of the class, but I think it'll be more interesting with a little bit of HTML under our belts. When we start to look at Canvas, the platform that we use on our campus here, this is a learning management system, an LMS, and we're going to look at just how learning is managed using these tools. This is going to be if you thought that the GitHub this week is an experiment, the Canvas week or two will be even more experimental. Because what I really want everyone to come away with is, kind of a little being troublemakers, right? Looking at Canvas in ways that most students, I would argue, probably are not privy to. Seeing what's under the hood, seeing what data is collected, and seeing how that data and thinking about how that data might be used. Okay, so that's it for today. It's 2 o'clock, an hour, not bad. Everything worked perfectly. Usually happens every semester. Takes about the halfway point for things to go seamlessly. So anyway, my name's Chris. I'm an assistant professor here at University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. Today we looked at using HTML to create a simple site, upload it to GitHub. It's all good, works perfectly, excellent. This is made possible by a grant from the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning here on campus. Teaching Enhancement Grant pays for all these nifty toys that make this happen. So Thanks to them as always. All right, until next. Oh, we'll see about next week. I might just do a little bit of something fun. We'll see how I feel next week when it's during spring break. So we'll see. All right, later, everyone. Oh, one more thing. If you have any questions about any of this, please don't hesitate to ask. Please don't wait until the weekend, though, however.